Okay, I'm going to talk you through this sampling mini test because there was a bit of confusion from a few people. It says psychologists use the self-report method to investigate gambling behaviour. They placed an advert in a local newspaper asking for men and women aged 16 to 50 to apply. Those who replied were sent a questionnaire, and the post consisted of a number of open and closed questions. So, for example, give reasons why you gamble and which of the following gambling activities do you engage in? So, national lottery, fruit machines, poker, horse racing, and football. Now, they've used a volunteer sample because they've placed an advert in a newspaper. So it says, what is one strength of using a volunteer sampling method for this study? So you'd start off by saying a strength of using a volunteer sample or sampling method. So you always recycle the question as a good starting point. Um, is that, what is the strength of? A few people were saying that it's quick and convenient. I mean, it is convenient because you do just put it under newspaper, but it's not quick because you've got to wait ages for those participants to get back to you. So it's not that quick. So you can't really say that unless you specify that it's quick for the research to do, but then obviously they'll have to wait for it. Um, you can say it's convenient because they come to you. You can say that. I'm just trying to think what the best one. Strength of volunteering sampling was. There's less chance of attrition. That's probably better. So, a strategy using a volunteer sample is that as men and women aged 16 to 50, 16 to 50 will have replied to the newspaper advert, they are more likely to complete the questionnaire on gambling seriously and send it back. Now at this point a lot of people stopped and didn't explain it further, so you need the extra stuff on the end to explain why that is good. So this means that the sample is less likely to suffer from attrition and the results about gambling will be more valid. Strength of using a volunteer sampling method is that as men and women aged 16 to 50 will have replied to the newspaper advert, they are more likely to complete the questionnaire on gambling seriously and send it back. This means that the sample is less likely to suffer from attrition. And the results about gambling will be more valid. I'm kind of making 2 points there because I'm kind of saying it's not going to suffer from attrition, which means that you're going to have a large enough sample size to be able to explain gambling behaviour. And if people drop out, it means that you're going to bias your sample, and you don't reselect a volunteer sample, so you would never say that on this answer. But then I'm also kind of saying because they've taken it seriously, it means they're going to be more valid. But I've kind of said 2 points, so I need to kind of pick one, really. So will be the last newspaper more likely to put the question out on gambling seriously and send it back. This means that their answers about gambling will be more valid as they will complete it honestly. Um, Okay, so I've put that there because that ending there would go in place of this one, so you can have two different endings. So this means the sample is less likely to suffer from attrition. The results about gambling will be more valid, as if people drop out, there may be something different about their gambling behaviour that we would not then be able to explain, such as them being embarrassed and not wanting to admit they have a problem. So either ending is fine. Obviously, as you can see, this one's a lot shorter, so that one would probably be easier to do than this one. You know, the one suffering from attrition, it's a good point, but takes a lot to explain that one to get it done right. Okay, so the next question, it says, how would you select a random sample for this study? Now, it's not this bit. This bit is the volunteer sample. So if you start talking about getting a list of names from a newspaper, you're going to be wrong. So you wouldn't be able to do that. And also, like, people mentioned the electoral roll. People who are 16 are not on the electoral roll. So the electoral roll is no good for this study. Similarly, a lot of people said you would go to a casino. You cannot put the National Lottery or horse racing or football at a casino. It'd be quite good for poker and for fruit machines, but not for the rest of them. So a casino is not a good suggestion. Quite a few people said a betting shop. A betting shop's good, but it doesn't have the National Lottery there, and people who are 16 can't go to a betting shop. So can you see there's a lot of practical problems with trying to get this list. I think I've probably been a bit harsh actually using this scenario and asking you to do a random sample because I didn't realise how difficult it was. Someone actually did a really, really good suggestion though. They said they would use the census. So, because on a census, you're going to have 16-year-olds and you're going to be able to, you know, get their details to be able to send them a questionnaire. So, I would suggest to use a census. So, to select a random sample, the researcher could use the country's census to make a list of names of men and women aged 16 to 50 and then put these names into a computer name generator to select randomly the size of the sample, such as 100 people. These people would then be sent the questionnaire on gambling to complete. So I've got somewhere I can get the list of names, which is practical and will get these people, and you could assume that they'd be interested in these things perhaps. So I'm not biasing it by going to a casino where most of these things are not going to be. Then I'm putting the names into a computer name generator or a tombola or a hat, whatever you like. But if it's a hat, then you can't suggest you're going to pick a large sample out because if you've got a lot of people, it's going to be a very big hat. So computer name generator, select it randomly, the size of the sample, give an example such as 100 people, and then these are sent this questionnaire on gambling to complete. Now, this question is asking what would be a weakness of using random sampling. Now, random sampling is, I mean, you all kind of got this one right, really. It's if someone decides they don't want to take part, then you've got to rerun the sample. So, a weakness of using random sampling is that if someone is sent a questionnaire after being selected from a list of names, they may not wish to take part. For example, they may be embarrassed to admit their gambling activities. Therefore, to ensure the sample is not biased, it would have to be reselected, as this one person dropping out could make it unrepresentative of everyone's gambling behaviour. This would mean that it would be time consuming for the researcher. So we've said the problem with it is they might not wish to take part, and that's going to bias our sample. It's going to have to be reselected, but the key thing is this makes it time consuming for the researcher. Quite a few people are missing that off. So you need to make sure you've got kind of those 3 points in there to get the 3 marks. So that is how you should have answered it. So please have a look at yours and then have a look at this one and see kind of where you've gone wrong and what kind of things you need to improve on. And if you've got any questions, just let me know.